Hello, computer scientists. Today we are going to start with MIT's Appinventor, which will let us create a little app for an Android phone. I am going to be following along with the Hello Purr introductory instructions from Appinventor, and as you can see, if you go to appinventor.mit.edu or just Google Hello Purr, it will come up, so you can follow these instructions on your own as well. So in Appinventor, we have the screen, which is blank right now, and then we have a whole bunch of things on the left here. User interface allows us to interact with our app. Layout allows us to arrange things on the screen. Media, obviously you can play sounds, you can take pictures. Text-to-speech is pretty cool, we can use that later. Drawing and animation, so if we want to make a game, we'll probably need that, or we can do more interesting things with a canvas later on. The sensors are really cool things that we can use for our projects. So an accelerometer, you already had an example of that, where it shakes, or if you're in a car and it's accelerating or decelerating. Barcode scanner is part of the camera. The clock, so this is, you can use like a timer. Gyroscope, again, location with the GPS. Orientation, northeast, southwest, pedometer, proximity. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with the sensors in a phone. In the social, you can get right into the contacts, right? So you can call people from your app. You can text. You can see if they want to share on Facebook and Twitter, things like that. So definitely, think about what the possibilities are there. Storage, file storage. We'll get into that a little bit. I wouldn't worry too much about the databases right now. We could use that in later on once we learn more about databases. And connectivity, that's more for like Bluetooth. Again, we're not going to get too much into that, but feel free to explore. You can click these little question marks and read about what they do. And you can also click on this more information, and it'll bring up a whole web page. And of course, my favorite thing to do is just to Google, and read about it. Maybe you're not going to use it in this project, but feel free to learn more about it. Lego Mindstorm, obviously we're not going to use this time, but pretty cool that you can connect with that. Experimental, again, another database in there, and then extensions are things that you can add on from the web, or you can build them yourself eventually. But things that aren't default, but that you want to add into your own projects. So going back to our Hello Purr app that we're going to build from the Appinventor examples, we are going to add a button, and then we're going to make that button look like a picture of a cat, so that when you click on it, it makes a meow sound. I know, very exciting stuff. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to need is in the user interface, we're going to need a button. So we're just going to drag that right onto our screen. And right away you can see over here in the components, we now have a screen one and a button one. So I'm going to rename this button, even though it's not in the instructions, because I do not like having buttons with generic names, or anything with generic names. I want to know exactly what it is. So I'm going to click on the rename here, and I'm going to call it cat button. Alright, so now I have my cat button. So usually the first thing that I would do with a button is I would go down here into the text, and I would change that to say something like press for cat. And then you can see immediately up here the button now says pressed for cat. But we're not going to use text on this button. We actually are going to use a picture of a cat, because why not? So I'm just going to delete all the text so that there's no text on top of my cat picture. And what I actually want to do is I want to have in the image file, I'm going to upload, choose a file, go to downloads, and pick kitty. And look at that, I got a picture of a cat. We're halfway to the internet now. So, if your picture of a cat looks weird, some things that you can try are changing the height and the width. So, for example, say you wanted it to be exactly 50% of the screen. So that'll make it half of the height, and you can make the width 50% as well. Now we have kind of a weird looking cat. We could do fill parent, which means whatever it's sitting in this case it's sitting in the whole screen. We didn't put it inside another frame. We could fill the entire parent with it, both the height and the width. And so now we have a giant cat. This one I think will be fine if we leave it as automatic. But anyway, there's different things you can do to resize your, remember this is a button. This is not a canvas with an image on it. This is a button with an image on it. Now, if we click the button, nothing happens. What we want to do is tell people what to do. So we're going to drag a label underneath. And a label is just a way to add text to things. So I'm going to change the text to say, pet the kitty. And I feel like making it a little bit different color, so I'm going to change the text color maybe to yellow. And so I'm going to change the background color to be blue. I want the font to be a lot bigger. Let's say 40. And again, I can make it, I can make this width to fill the entire parent. So, and then maybe I want to make the text to be right in the middle. And that looks a little bit better. I like that. All right. So now we got to add the meow sound. All the things that we've added so far in the user interface have been visible items. So now, if you click on media, drag a sound over, you notice it doesn't sit on the screen. It comes down here because it's a non-visible component. That means nothing appears on the screen. It's just stored in the background for us to use. And we have to tell it what sound to play. So we go over here in the properties, and we're going to have to upload a file. Let's use meow. And now we have a sound. Meow.mp3. Again, I don't like having generic labels, so I'm going to rename my label 1 to be pet kitty label, and my sound to be Meow Sound. Because that way, when I get into my block editor later on, I'll know exactly what things are. When I want to delete things or change things, I know exactly what they are. If I have lots of buttons, just having button 1, button 2, button 3 doesn't really help me. The cat button, I know exactly which one it is. Giant cat button. All right. So we've got everything kind of the way we want it, but it doesn't do anything. It just sits there, and the button doesn't work because we haven't told it to do anything yet. So we got to go up here in the corner where it says blocks and click on that. And as you can see, there's nothing here. There's no code. There's no program. So what we need to do is go down to our cat button and say, when the cat button is clicked, we're going to go to the sound over here in our blocks again, and we are going to call play on our meow sound. So again, there are a bunch of built-in controls over here. for loops, if-then statements, equals and, greater than, less than, things like that. You can add text. We have lists, obviously colors. You can have new variables. You can make new procedures or functions. But if you want our cat button to do something, you have to click on the cat button and then decide what you want to do. Again, you can do lots of cool stuff when it's, when the button is just touched down, when it's released, when it gets a focus, if somebody holds it down for a long time. All these different things happen on your phone. If you think about it, different apps use these things different ways. We are just going to use the click, but you can also change all the properties of your button. You can change the height, you can change the text on it, you can hide it, you can make it visible, invisible. So there's lots of different things you can do to all the elements on your screen. And similarly, if you want to have the Meow Sound play, you got to click on the Meow Sound item and then do something with it. You can vibrate, like if you have silent ring on your phone, it vibrates, things like that. So all the different things you can do with your phone, you can do in here. You can set it to do whatever you want. And so maybe what we'll do is we'll run this program and see how it works and try it out. So the first thing I want to do, always save my project. Always save it before you do anything else. And maybe not a bad idea to save it as 2017-02-24 because that gives me a version from today, and every day that I use it, I can save it as a new version. So here's my app, and I am going to connect to my phone. So I'm going to connect with AI Companion. This is an app you can download for your phone, but remember your computer and your phone have to be on exactly the same network. So at home, that'll work because you'd be on the same network. So my phone is now connected. And of course you can't see my phone screen, but if I pet the kitty, then it plays the meow sound. So now we have a functioning app, and we can do anything we want from here. So stay tuned for more lessons on how to use MIT Appinventor. I hope that's a good place to start.